All right, so this is probably the second time that I've looked at GBP USD this entire 2021, and I actually hadn't looked at it probably for a good end of 2 months of 2020. And so this is going to be a pretty rough analysis. Well, not rough. I wouldn't say rough. Nothing I do is rough. She can say we out here. But it's gonna be fresh. It's gonna be raw. We're gonna just analyze it and just go through it one by one. So here are the things that I like to think about. When I'm trading, I like to think about, and this is gonna conflict with pretty much almost everything that I've been teaching for the past couple months. But recently I've been doing a lot more research, and I've discovered that look, we need to start thinking about macroeconomic views way more than we do, not just technicals, because you can get spikes here and there and you're wondering what the hell happened. Sometimes it's not the banks are not always the culprit. Sometimes it's actual traders who are just flocking towards something because they are following a certain macroeconomic perspective. So with that being said, here's what I think. We got to go macroeconomic. Think about macroeconomically what's happening if you can. If it's currencies that are pretty exotic, you don't really need to pay attention to that. But if it's something like the dollar, you should really know where the dollar is going pretty much at all times and have an understanding where the yen is going. Those are just two major currencies worldwide. Then structure. What's going on structurally on the chart? Then you think about smart money, and then you can get into OTE, right? So and that's kind of my strategy. I don't really trade just smart money anymore. I trade OTE between this particular time of the day, but we're gonna get to that portion of the video. And so once you're looking at this chart, you can see over the past decade, or about a decade, the dollar has been strengthening, right? Because the dollar is on the right side of this pair. When this pair goes down, that means the dollar is strengthening, right? If it goes up, it means the pound is strengthening. I mean, you guys know this stuff. I don't have to be telling you, because this is for my more advanced traders, right? But I just like to be explaining from raw. I like to explain from raw, right? So when you're looking at that, you think the dollar is the world's superpower. It's why the dollar's been strengthening. About 60 to 70% of all international currency flows is happening through the dollar. It is a standard trading currency. That means when you're having forwards or futures contracts and trading commodities around the world, they're doing it primarily in dollars. Things are priced in dollars worldwide. And so the dollar is a big deal. But recently we've seen a breakout in the dollar, and we're now seeing a complete turn in trajectory that we haven't seen in the past 7 years, right? And so why is this happening? I'm going to show you exactly what I mean on the chart, but why is this happening? Because the political instability we've been having inside America has really damaged the world's viewpoint of our ability to really handle situations. And so we are a lot more precarious than we thought in terms of how the world views us. And for example, given this pandemic, what if another thing happens like this? We don't have the proper leadership to guide us through it. There's no reason why China would be able to get rid of all the viruses, and get to such a low rate where they can function in society normally. In America, still has California shutting down, with other states probably up to come. Schools can't open in New York, right? Because we didn't handle the coronavirus situation well. It led a lot of countries to lose faith in the America, and the American dream, the American dollar, more especially. And so, with that being said, a lot of countries have now been lowering their capital reserves in the dollar. Basically, they've been selling the dollar off, making the dollar weaker, right? And other currencies stronger, like the yuan and pretty much anything else. The dollar is just weakening in general against most international currencies. And if we look at this chart, technically, and I expect this to continue to happen for, if not the rest of not only for the rest of this year, but probably for the next couple of years. America really messed up bad. And so if you draw this line right here, you can see we had a breakout here. But even if you want to draw another line, maybe one that has more touches on it, right, more points on it. This has 3 solid points. This is about as strong as it gets, right? You see this breakout right here. Let's delete this one. You see this breakout right here, right? You get that snapback that usually happens. You create equal highs here. Equal highs created, right? But usually when you break such a strong trend, you get that retest. This is the retest right here. Kind of going with structure. this upward ended structure right here. You kind of break through this line. I would never start buying here. I'd wait for the retest. So you wait for this thing to fall, and then you start seeing a convexity. That I don't even know if that's the right word. Convexity. Whatever. And it goes upwards, right? You see it going upwards, and then that's when you can start being like, all right, so I mean, we're moving for real. When you start seeing it breaking again, we're moving for real. You got these equal highs here. You got this imbalance over here to the left. I mean, that should be everybody's first target, for GBP USD at the very minimum. This institutional. Hold on, this thing's so annoying. What the hell? All right, this institutional candle right here with this imbalance. Yeah, that should be our first target. I mean, I can see this thing go, riding all the way up there, at least there. But I mean, we got equal highs above this place right here as well. I mean, there's so much happening right now. This is ridiculous. Also, notice how there were equal highs here. This got taken out. That dropped. This was a retest of that. This is a mitigation of that right here to continue to go down. Just interesting thoughts. But you can see how we were having, we had, high, low. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This is kind of higher high a little bit, but it's still lower than this high. Lower low. Oh, well, let's say this is the lower low. Oh, what do we have here? Equal lows right here. Right? That was taken out by this huge institutional candle. A lot of selling volume. It takes millions and millions and millions, billions of dollars to move a currency this much. We're not doing that. The banks are. And you get this snapback, right, up, because what you have below here, you have a bunch of traders who are going to set what we call sell stops, because they believe that once you have these 1, 2, 3 points and they're broken, that it's probably going to continue to go down. It has enough momentum to keep going down. But what that does is that means all those traders are enticed to sell, but the banks need that liquidity because every seller has a buyer on the other side. So the banks buy up all those seller positions, right? And they send the currency right back up. Even people who have buy stops, here, right? Let's say they had like a stop loss of like, let's even say it generously, even 300 pips, if they're really big traders. That gets taken out. And so, when you enter in this buy position, you're forced to, well, let's say it's right here. When you enter this buy position, you're forced to buy back your position. Oh, sorry, you're forced to get into a buy in that position. However, when it triggers your stop loss, you're forced to sell that back. You're supposed to sell that position that you just bought back. And so you can see how there's double selling going on. So much liquidity on the sell side that just got picked up by the banks who are now buying all that up and sending this currency the other trajectory. But they're also riding on the macroeconomic moves of the world right now. Other big countries are selling off the dollar, but you can see how the bank can ride that. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's unfortunate for those who aren't educated, but it's still pretty cool. All right. Now we're really taking off, right? We're really taking off, right? You have the equal highs, you had these candles right here, right? Going up. And so, oh, sorry, my computer needs to charge. Anyway, and so, we're really going up now. And we're gonna head towards this direction. That's the very least. And so now that we've seen what's happening in the long term, right? Let's get a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more into the shorter time frames, right? Daily, pretty much you've already analyzed that. Pretty much the same things happening, right? 4 hour. Okay, I'd be a little concerned about this area right here. It kind of seems like equal lows, possibly. Honestly, yeah, that could be equal lows. So just be wary of that. All right, let's just put a dollar sign there just to remind us, right? But we have this line that we're on right now, this structure right here, where you could see this currency kind of snap back down here, bounce off, then continue to take off. So I probably wouldn't be looking on OTEs for GU for a while. But also look at the 2 hour, pretty much the same thing. Let's go down to the 1 hour. That's where I'm going to stop. And then after the 1 hour, it's going to go straight to OTE, because we're done looking at the longer time frames. Actually, look here. We had some equal highs taken out here. Some liquidity was taken out there. Now they created equal lows, right? What's going to happen next? Oh, look at this. This trend right here, right? And so you have this possibly bouncing off here. Well, you know, I could see this. I could see this currency going like this. Either one of two ways, right? I could see it going up this way. Actually, I see it going three ways. I see it taking liquidity, because when, you know, people are drawing this line, and so they think once it breaks, you know, it's going to take off, right? So it takes liquidity, comes back down, forces all those people to close their positions so the bank can now buy them and then take it off, right? That's one. I think something else that could happen is we get a big move like this, but then we just tank down. Take this liquidity, right? Then take off, right? Another thing that could happen is that this just goes all the way down, touches here, takes off, right? Or you could have like this and take off, right? But here's what I'm trying to say. Something has to happen before I'm going to buy this currency. I'm not entirely sure that this is solid equal lows, because they're not at the exact same price point. This could have just been a mitigation for the imbalance right here. If you zoom in, right, there's an imbalance right here. This could have just been a mitigation right there. And so until we get a solid up and a retest here and then upwards, I'm not going to trade. OTE, nothing, right? Because you know, you got to know what your criterion are for trading. What are the possibilities? You see how I just went through every single possibility of things that could happen before I decided to make a decision? Because that's what I'm most comfortable with. I know that, look, the banks probably want to continue to take this upwards. If they take the liquidity up here, retest this area where they took the liquidity, and then go up. That's what I'm waiting for. I mean, they can keep moving around, ziggling, zaggling, go down here, do that. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to see before I continue to buy this currency. Since I know in the long run we're going to be moving upwards, I'm only looking for buys, by the way, and I'm only going to be looking to buy this currency in the short run when I see that banks are serious about really taking this thing upwards, right? So you have to kind of apply your own wisdom and knowledge, but these are the tools and keys that I look at. Whenever you see this kind of the structure right here, you got to be waiting for that breakout, retest, and it doesn't matter what's all in here. It doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter right now. You're trying to figure out what's going to happen next in this relevant, the most recent relevant structure to have been formed, right? And so let's see, like, how, you know, let's just review some OTE. I don't think it's that time yet. Oh, actually it is that time. It is OTE time. But you know, I will not be trading OTE today on this currency pair. Well, actually, no, let's keep that there. I don't know why I removed that. Sorry. All right, now that my computer is faster, let's stick to this daily real quick, okay? All right, so when we're looking at OTE now, we've gone over, we've gone over more of the longer term buys. Let's get specific into OTE, right? So daily time frame. We're gonna start with the daily time frame, right? On the daily, we've already established, and even on the weekly, we've established that we're going upwards. So we're only going to be looking for opportunities that are going upwards. Now let's look at this. This selling liquidity right here. These few last candles. Before we took off, a lot of buy liquidity, or not a lot of buying volume, right? Then you get this institutional candle right here, immediate reverse into huge buying volume. That's bank movement, clear bank movement. We can't move currencies like this, banks do, right? Or governments, typically banks on a daily basis, right? Then you get this institutional candle right here, comes into the open of this institutional candle, and then takes off, right? That's clear mitigation play, smart money, right? Take off, bada boom, bada bang, right? Then we have all, they take out the equal highs. We have all this, selling volume coming back down, mitigating into this candle, right? All the way down deep into here, probably filling out some imbalances on a smaller time frame. And then a huge takeoff, right? Above the PVD low, and sorry, above the PVD high, right? Where now we can start aiming for, when you see a PVD high taken out like this, typically if the liquidity is not being drawn, you will see, more candles following, right? More candles going upwards in the next couple of days, so that's what I anticipate. It's what I usually see, right? And so what I'm looking for, like I said, I'm looking for this breakout right here, right? Looking for that breakout, and looking for that to happen on a smaller time frame. But we've seen what's happening on the daily, and now we're just gonna go straight to the 5-minute. As we're doing the 5-minute, though, I'd like to point out that OTE is between 8:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. Okay. And so you want to make sure your entry is in between these lines, between 8:30 and 11 a.m. But you can use price data to know when, if you want to get a certain pullback, when to get in. But as long as your entry is within these red lines. Now look at something here. Immediately, something that calls to my attention is, okay, so if you look here, you had equal lows. It's got taken out by this wick. Up, mitigate that, straight up volume. That's smart money, guys. And so what happens there is right now, this is the last institutional candle. And when you have structure, you go up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm waiting for, I'm waiting for that next down around this area. It's either this area or this area, because this is actually the last resistance level, especially at around the PVD high. That's no coincidence. That's a resistance level, PVD high. Okay, takes off. And so we can either get a push, we're going to get this fall down and we're going to pull back into here or into here, either one. And so I'm going to go from the last low, draw my fib, take it to the last high, right? 0 point being at the end point, and 1 being at the beginning. And so you get a pullback, and look at this, 0.62. 62% is directly at this last resistance level. Or you can get around a 79 around this level. Right here, you got this whole imbalance in here that could be filled. So basically, your optimal entry point is going to just start here, and you're going to keep your stop loss below here, right? Or if you want to feel more comfortable, you can keep it below all this action. But I just prefer to keep it below here, a good solid 25 pips, right? Okay. And remember what we're targeting, guys. Let's go back into the weekly. This institutional candle up here is the long-term target. So there's no reason why this -2 shouldn't get hit, right? It's only if there's a lot of volatility, maybe it spikes back down. But I would hold this thing for a long time. I would hold it for probably the next day or two, right? Okay. And so you're going to set your take profit all the way to the -2. Why not? Set it to the -2. Once you set it to the -2, all right. This is a 1 to 6.66 risk to reward ratio. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. Right, so you get this pullback into here and it takes off. But let's say it passes the 0 point. Where would I move my stop loss? Break even. Once it moves past the 0, I'd set it to break even, so that if it spikes back down, in the nighttime you can find another entry point or something like that, because this thing is going to go up. You just need to find the right entry point. If it spikes back down, you won't lose any money, right? And I like to just keep it at stop loss. Some people like to move up. I mean, I know ICT really likes to keep moving his stop loss up. You can do that to be more safe. So let's say it passes the -0.5, you can move your stop loss up, a little bit upwards towards the 0 level, or maybe upwards here. And once it passes the -1, move your stop loss around the -0.5. You can keep trickling it up. But you know, I'm a little bit riskier in the way I do it, because I like to, you know, I know, especially in these pandemic times, that you know the currency is likely to continue to go up and down, up and down. And so you kind of just have to play it, you know, wisely and smartly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I hope that this has been a refreshing video for you guys. And you know, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It also helps me be able to afford more equipment that could help me to do better videos. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. 2021 is going to be a big year. Looking forward to it.